Hey everyone, welcome back to AI for Procs. Today we are going to learn conditions. Okay, so what are conditions, guys? These are decision makings to make your script run as a decision making way. For example, if you want to do something, then if it is equal to that, then it's supposed to run a particular code, and if this is not equal to that, then probably we can ask to run some other code block. Okay, so let's understand it in more details. Okay, so for example, I want to check if one service is running, and if status of that service is running, then it need to write that service is running. Okay, so how exactly I can do that? Okay, so what I will do, I will take the that service in a variable. Okay, what I'm doing here, I'm taking that service a dollar service variable, and I'm getting that object in get hyphen service, and the service name is bits. Okay, so what I will do now, the second line start that I need to check if status of that service is running, then it need to execute this code block write host which service is running. Okay, if not, then probably it will not. So when exactly this will be written in screen, whenever the status of the service is running. If status of service is stopped, then this code will not be executed because these conditions will be false, and if the condition is false, then this code block will not be executed. A tip for you guys, always keep the conditions in this bracket. Okay, these are the bracket which we have to use, always the conditions, and code block which need to be executed based on that conditions, it will always kept in the curly brackets. Okay, so all the code whatever you, if in case you want to write more lines here, so everything should be inside these curly brackets. We the expanding the choices, guys. Okay, how exactly, if there are multiple conditions you want to check, right? So in that case we can use else if in PowerShell. Okay, so what exactly I'm doing, I'm checking if temperature is greater than 30, then it will execute this code block. Okay, I'm but there are chances that the temperature might have some other condition, right? I want to check if it is greater than 20, then probably it has to do some other thing, and maybe if it is greater than 10, then I can write something. If it is greater than 100, then I can write something like that. Okay, so whatever else if I needed, I can write those else if. Okay, but when we just need to check only one conditions, and if that condition is not true, then probably I can use another else, another block, right? So there is only two block choices is two only. If this is true, then it will happen, else another code block will happen. So for example, if user equal to admin, I can write this is a admin user, else this is not a admin user. Okay, so in this way, in case we have multiple conditions need to be checked, then we always use else if, and if there is only one condition to be checked, and if that condition is not true and I want to write some other thing, then probably I always can use else. Comparison operators, guys, so I can say these are decision making tools. Okay, so we already checked these in the operator session, that what exactly these do. So the output of conditions is always in true and false. Okay, so for example, eq, it need to be checked whether it is equal to this or not, not equal to whether a is not equal to b. Okay, if a is not equal to b, then it will be true, right? Why? Because I'm checking not equal to, it is not equal to that. If both value is different, then probably it is true, else it will be false. So whenever we have such conditions, that when I need to do some way, that if this is not equal to this, then do that, otherwise do that, right? So here we are going to use not equal to. Similar way, greater than, less than, and like. Okay, so like is always checked for the string. So whenever I need to match some string with someone, for example, if dollar name is like app star, so what I'm doing, if anything contain in name which is starting with app, and after that it could be any value, right? So it is going to match that. If that condition is happening, then probably it is true and it will execute the if code block. Advanced conditions making, guys, and or logical, and logical or. So both in a logical and, guys, it executed and it provide true when both conditions are true. Okay, so what happen, see what I'm doing here, I'm checking at two conditions. One condition is that if this Chrome process in working set is greater than 500 MB. Okay, and if the process Chrome is responding. Okay, so if these both conditions are true, then it will write Chrome is active and using a lot of memory. Okay, but if I use or here, then in these two conditions, if only one condition is true, then based on that, it can execute both. I mean, it will also be true and it will write this code. Okay. So during the practical, I will let you know how exactly we can do that. Where exactly we can use these PowerShell conditions. So in case you are doing user access management, then probably you can create some script for that. Based on those, you can write your script that if that user is member of that group, then probably it has certain those permissions. If not, then like that, right? In case you are doing health checkup, so for example, the service status, disk spaces, CPU uses, alert. So based on those, you can trigger alert, right? For example, if C drive space is less than 10%, then probably it will trigger an alert. If CPU uses is greater than 85%, then it will trigger a alert, right? If that service is not equal to running state, then it will trigger a alert. Such way file operations you can perform. If this certain condition is happening, based on that you can move that file. Okay, for example, if the write time for that file is greater than 90 days, then move that file in archive, right? Okay, if the last write or access time for that file is 6 years, then probably you can delete it, right? So based on that, you can just do and the conditions on age, size, name, and pattern. Okay, similar way you can create automated reporting, generate reports with specific data point based on the dynamic conditions like server load and error counts. Okay, so we will check this during the demonstration. So you also can make your skills boost with the AI, leveraging AI, right? So in case you want to learn the PowerShell effectively with the help of AI, then probably you can ask the generative AI that how, please help me to explain the scenario in simpler terms for the conditions, right? You can ask generative AI to write some scripts for you which are taking the conditions. Okay, so probably the motto is here that you will be writing the script from the generative AI, but you should have a understanding of it, right? So you can do in that way. Troubleshooting tips, guys. So whenever you are writing the code yourself, and in case you are facing, you can simply paste your code in generative AI, and it will tell you that if there is any problem, and probably it can be fixed. You also can ask, please describe me the issue if they are you are facing any problem, right? You can ask explanation in case you are writing something and or AI has written something for you. You can ask AI that please help me to explain it, why it is working, why it is not working. So it will give you in more details that how exactly you can troubleshoot your code. And even you can ask that this is my code, I have written it in this way, can you please help me to write it in a alternative way? So you also can ask that. So thank you so much for this. Now we will move on the that guys. Now we are going to uh, move on the demonstration. Okay. So how exactly we can do? So I have opened this Visual Studio Code. Okay. So how exactly? See, the first I will be starting that how what is the syntax for writing a conditions. Okay, so always we are going to write a conditions in the curly bracket. Okay, and then the something what I want to do based on that conditions, that will be written in this curly brackets. Okay, so see guys, my age is 17. Now I need to check if my age is greater than 18, then I can write, I can vote. Otherwise, I cannot vote. Okay. So if I will execute this code block, what exactly is going to happen? It is going to tell me what it is going to tell me that it says that nothing. Why? The output is nothing actually. Why? Because my age is not greater than 18. Okay, so what actually this condition become false here, and when this conditions become false, it says nothing can be happen. Okay, so similar way, let me make my age 19. Okay, let me make my age 19, and now I see what it can, what it said, you can vote. Okay, so else conditions guys. Okay, same thing. What I will do, I will write again this, and else I can write if my age is not greater than 100, it will write write hyphen host and double quote, you cannot vote. Okay, so now it says you can vote. Let me change my age. My age 17 again, and now I will say it says you cannot vote. So can you see the power of that else? When the condition is not true, it is always going to execute that else block. Okay. So here is another example of that. If temperature is greater than 35, it is going to tell, okay, the temperature is 35 here. Okay. This is the value. Now it is going to check if temperature is greater than 25, then it is going, it's too hot. Otherwise, it's going to tell it's not hot. Okay, so let's execute this code block. What exactly it's saying? See, it's hot. Okay, now what I will do, let me change the value. I said the temperature is 20. Okay, now what will be the output? It says it's not hot. Okay, so based on that guys, whenever this condition will become true, it will execute this code block. Otherwise, it is going to execute this code block. Another example of if and else if. Okay guys, so how we are going to execute else if? So if condition is true, then it will do something. Okay, it's okay, I want to check another condition, then how I will do, I will write else if another condition, if that condition is true, then do, if nothing, then always perform the else block. Okay, so let's do some grading system. What I have created here, score. Okay, so if my score, I said my score is 60. So if my score is greater than 90, it is going to tell me you have got grade A. Else if, okay, whenever I'm using else if, I have to provide another conditions check. Okay, so now another condition is if score is greater than 80, then it is going to tell grade B. If it is greater than 70, it is going to tell grade C. And if all three conditions are not accepting, it is some other cases, then it is going to tell you that it is grade F. Okay, so let's do this one. See, term else if is not recognized. How is that possible? Let me do that. Else if this is not true, guys, it should definitely run it. Let me write it manually. Okay, so let me say dollar uh, score is equal to 60. Okay, now I'm doing if, what I'm doing, if a dollar score is greater than 90, then I will do my code block, write hyphen host, and it says that uh, grade grade A. Okay. Now else if, okay, and then another condition. I'm writing else if dollar score is greater than 7, not 70, 80. What it will do? Write hyphen host, okay, and it will say grade B. Okay, and I'm doing I'm just keeping only two conditions, and if this is not condition, then what I'm writing, write hyphen host, okay, grade C. Okay, and let's do guys, see, grade C, it worked, right? So there might have some this dot, actually probably this dot or something else if is working, right? I'm not sure what if the spelling mistake, else, okay, maybe, but yeah, it is working, right? So if I'll change the score now, let me change the score here, let me change the score, let me change score is 95. Then what it says, it says grade A. Okay, so whenever you need to do multiple conditions, you always can refer to this. Okay, let's do it on some file. Okay, suppose I have a file, c temp test.txt. I will be checking it. If that file exists, then it will say add this line to file. See, here I'm doing multiple operations, right? First, I'm writing that file exists, and then I'm saying that add these operations to that file, else I'm saying that file not found. Okay, so I don't know whether that file exists in my system or not. Let's run it and see whether I have. See, it says that file exists. Okay, now let me go to ctemp.txt and see if this line is added or not. Okay, so let me just open that one. Okay, okay, let me. Okay, it's it's happened because of that. Yeah, see, add this line to. Can you see it? It is added, right? So the number way, multiple operations I can perform here. Okay, for example, see, I want to write another line here that add this line, this second line. Okay, add this second line. Okay, let me write this. Add this file exists, and now it's added another line. Now let me check that file. See, this is added second line. Why, guys? Because I did not append it actually. I always need to use append. Append. Okay. So if I will use append, then both file will be here. Okay. Let me write that. Oh, append out hyphen file. Actually, this append doesn't support here. I probably need to use something else. But yeah, it's quite even, guys. Let's do one thing. Let me fix this code with the help of AI, right? We are also learning it from the AI. Okay, so why should I use my mind when we have generative AI nowadays? Okay, so what I will do, I will open the AI. Let's open Chat GPT, and we will ask Chat GPT to fix this code for us. Okay, okay, can you please fix the PowerShell code for me? And I will write it. Okay, it's doing something. PowerShell. Actually, hmm, yeah, respond. Okay, okay, hey, guys. So what it says that? It says that out hyphen file, then I have to provide the file path, and I need to use these things here. Okay, even I can write it a shorter way. What exactly saying that file is this? If test file is this, then says file exists and then add this way. Okay, I'll say. So let me write this way. Okay, let's believe on the okay, CLS. See, okay, the file is exists and now let's open that file. See guys, all four lines are there added, right? It is appended it because we have used append and then probably this was missing. Okay, so this is the way you can use AI. Okay, let's move further. Let's create a script based on my system that I will be checking if the free space on my system is greater than 50 GB, then it will say plenty space. Okay, otherwise what it will say, it will say that it will say I have to use it here probably. Okay, else it will say it will check if it is greater than, then it will say running low space, it else at last it will say very low space. Okay, so let's run. So how exactly it is going to get the space, guys? So get hyphen WMI object. So these are the WMI from the Microsoft. So get hyphen WMI and it will be checking Win32 logic disk class and then it will be checking for the C drive. Okay, and it will check the property free space and it will just divide it by 1 GB so that whole size of disk free space can be come in GB. Okay, so let's run it. Okay, let me in E. Okay, else if is not sure, guys, what it why it's giving else if. Let me do this way. Not sure when I'm doing copy paste why it's not happening. Let me copy it. Let me else if is not recognized. I'm not sure why it's giving me. Uh, okay, let me open the traditional way of writing the script. Let me open ISE. Okay, I will write this script here. Else if is not written, why it's giving, I'm not sure why this, but even we executed that else if, right? It should run. Okay, so else if is there, let me write it here. This way. See guys, it is running low space. Why? Because my C drive is low. So see that else if is running here, I'm not sure why it's not running on that Visual Studio Code. But yeah, this is the correct way of writing the else if block. If this condition would happen, then it will write this. Otherwise, it will check this. And if both conditions are not true, then it will just execute the else block. Okay. So let's move forward. So guys, leveraging your study with the help of AI, how exactly you can do that. So you can ask questions to the AI. Probably you can ask write a script for me. Let me create a simple PowerShell script that checks if file exists or not. Right. So let me ask uh, Chat GPT for that. It is going to help me or not. Here is the simple define a file. So it says that file. Okay. Now if file exists is test hyphen path command that is there to check the file. If that this condition is true, then it will say file exists. If not, it will say file not exists. Okay. We can say write a PowerShell if else example for checking grades A, B, C, D, E, F, right? We although did that, but let's we already did that. So let's write this. Write a PowerShell code check to check the disk space and give warning if statement. Okay. So let's ask AI to create a script for us. Okay. Okay, see what is it is checking. So we see by this way we also can see that apart from the WMI, I also can use get hyphen PS drive. Okay, so it will provide me all the file system here. And now then I will use for each loop we are going to learn in the next modules. So probably meanwhile just understand that it will check each drive one by one, and it will just do some mathematical operations for that by dividing it by 1 GB and just taking only two decimals, and based on that it will just give me. So let me write that code and let me execute it. See guys, so see, it's very easy. See, I have an understanding of it that it will get all the PS drive here, and then I will check for each drive and free space, total space, percentage, and like that. Okay. So if percentile free is less than 10, then it will say critical. If it is greater, it is less than 20, then it will say warning. If it else, I mean, if both conditions are not, then I have sufficient space. What exactly it is going to give me? It says that all risks. See, it says that my C drive is in critical conditions. E drive has enough free space. F drive also has enough free space, and G drive also has enough free space. Okay. So this is the way you can use the generative AI, guys. So we have a mini project here, which is file checker. Okay, so what I am doing here that I am running this file checker script that if file one, what I am doing that I'm giving creating a variable and I'm saying that file one is notepad.exe, file two is iexplorer.exe, file 3 is fake.txt. Okay, now I'm checking if these files are exist or not. Okay, so what is say this is the file, it will say this is exist. This file is also exist on the system, so probably it is going to give this output. Okay, so if else, okay, so all three operations I can. Let's do it. Control E. See, so what exactly it is going to. See guys, notepad found. Okay, internet explorer also found, but that fake.txt not found. Why? Because we don't have any such files. Okay, so what I'm saying that fake file 3. What is my fake file 3? That is fake.txt. Says that that doesn't exist. It doesn't exist, right? So that's why I said it. No. So based on these conditions, guys, you can create some project. Probably you can create that if your age is greater than 18, then you can say you are an adult. Okay, if your age is greater than I mean 13 or 14, you can say you are a teenager, else you are a kids. Okay, so based on that, you can just create your script and you can just play with conditions. Thank you for your time, guys. Let's meet on another session.